Good evening, everyone. Calling to order this meeting of the Conservation Commission. As a reminder for all of you who have never been here before, this meeting is being broadcast on Channel 192 in Rutland and recorded for later broadcast and submission on YouTube and other services. Let's begin with the reading of the minutes.
Tamika, under 151.53 East County, it's 3 culverts, not 2. And then on the 61A in Turkey Hill, I recused. No, it says unanimous. That's right.
Melissa recused on 61A property.
Oh,
Turkey Hill.
yeah, just on the discussion. So.
Oh, she didn't mention it in the discussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you had it right on the vote.
Okay.
Just in the discussion section. Yeah.
Motion?
Motion to approve as amended.
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. So we have a couple minutes to kill. Did you folks go to the COC sites?
Sure did.
Sure. Uh-oh.
Sure did. It might
Oh.
take 'em more than a couple minutes.
Okay.
Well, I'll say right off the bat, 75 is not even close to being done. It's not even loamed yet. It's not even final grade or anything, so I don't know why they requested it.
We're wondering if that was a mix-up somehow.
But, I mean, when we looked at the request that Tamika sent up, it was the same lot numbers, same house
Yep.
numbers, same
Matched up.
everything, so that's a definite no.
Karen's normally on that, so I'm surprised, but okay. How about Sunnybrook Estates? Does that one look okay? Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about them all later then. 7:04. I'm not going to tap dance. I'm not going to get up and sing. I will mention that those of you who are looking, who see the difference between the online and this printed agenda is Sunny Hill Estates. I'm getting a lot of questions about Sunny Hill Estates. And that's fine, but that's the property that the town voted to take by deed in lieu of foreclosure at the town meeting on Thursday.
Oh.
There's a lot going on there. It's not that awful. In fact, it's really simple for us because it means they can't do anything with it, but we have a lot more to say about that. It is 7:05. Let's open a hearing for the request for determination of applicability for River Road Estates, LLC. Let me pull up the right form. Let me find. Come on. I think that one's yours. Okay. Craig, do you want to say anything?
Sure. So, yeah, it's just we're fixing up the existing driveway that's been there for, notice for probably 40 or 50 years, something somewhere out there. Just adding a 12-inch culvert pipe. Right now, and when it rains, water just puddles in the road, in the driveway. So we're gonna add a culvert and raise the grade maybe 18 inches just to allow water to move without picking up any sediment. We're gonna install hay bales or silt fence and wattles on uphill, the upstream and downstream side of the crop, where the pipe's going to be installed. It's pretty simple, straightforward.
When Jared and I did the walk, we saw no evidence of an actual stream. There was some puddling right here, and very clearly, since it had rained recently, in this path, and that this looked very wetlandish. This area
Meh.
Not so
was, yeah, not so much.
much. And none of it is mapped.
Right. So, um, I feel confident in my feelings about it, but I want to know what other people say and think.
Yeah, I went out last weekend after we
Oh,
did some of
good.
the site visits, and it's like, okay, you understand it a little bit better, because it's not, I think, like you said, it's not necessarily like a stream channel. It's kind of seasonal overflow rain event flooding, so. Good.
Any other comments, questions? Like a motion, please.
Actually,
Can I get the paperwork?
what erosion controls are you using? Sorry.
I believe we discussed
Can't remember off the top of my
silt
head.
fence and straw wattles.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
That's what we discussed.
Okay.
We did, yep. And I think the limits on the plan seem appropriate
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
the work being done, so, yeah, they look good to me.
Hold on, don't do that yet. Okay. I just need to see it because there's a part of the form we probably need to fill out right now,
Yeah. So,
which is
so
3?
yeah, I'll make a motion to issue a negative determination that the work is jurisdictional but will not what's the word I'm looking will not alter areas under protection, subject to proper erosion controls as depicted on the plan.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we are, I don't want to do this in red.
Here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
You skipped
now
one,
did I skip
Yeah,
one? Of
it's
course I
it's
did.
stuck in right in between here. There you go.
Oh, how wonderful.
I have not.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
The same paper, just 3 copies of
Yep.
signature.
So this
I'll
is
These
the
don't
same.
have the
bring
changes.
this one back. And we'll
There you go.
And then when you send this one back to be signed. I think I stole the pen last time I was here.
Switch.
You? You've already signed that one, so that should be all set.
Thank you very much.
No problem. And you can just, drop that off with the check with the town clerk and.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Have a good
You're
night.
welcome.
Thanks, Greg. Have a great night.
Thank you.
One more. Okay, so now that we have 6 minutes to kill, let's talk a little more about Sunny Hill Estates.
So that's the one with all the random parcels that was on the warrant.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Sunny Hill Estates actually is this pretty much this entire development. I'm not sure about the Briarwood is probably something else. Highland Park might have been, but Prescott, up Sherrill Karen, and Karen extended down here, and Edith Lane, and Sunny Side Circle, I believe is what they call it. Edith Lane was built. Sherrill was built from Prescott to where Karen Way is supposed to begin. And those lots had been extant and built up, lived in for a couple decades. In, I believe, 2012, the owners of Sunny Hill Estates went to DCR to get a Wetlands Protection Act variance for all these shaded properties and the roads. And basically what DCR said was, you may continue Cheryl Land to the end. You may build Karen Way from that intersection to the intersection with Briarwood.
Okay.
That's it. None of the, actually, 5 of these properties are allowed to be built, and it's unclear to me, based upon the wording of the variance, if they really mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would be weird because this section isn't allowed to be built. Or if they meant, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, these 2 lots down here that were never built up, I believe, are buildable, except that Karen Way doesn't exist.
Oh.
So this lot is a lot. I don't know that it has sufficient frontage, but I'm going to pretend for it. That's not our problem. But 2 is landlocked. You can't get to it. They explicitly forbade the building of this road.
Okay.
That's because there's stream or river here,
Oh.
and then all this business that runs into this wetland. And if you start measuring it, all of this is within the 400. And they were very worried about impervious surfaces. And because they took out Sunrise Circle, and with the proximity to these streams, none of these lots are buildable. They felt it was okay to build 5 of these lots, whichever 5 they meant, because there's already sewer, or it could easily be extended to there. And the land is sufficiently flat, they weren't worried about something getting into the streams from that side of the road. Apparently all the Israels have left the earth. They've all passed on. There are no heirs that the lawyers for the estate can find. And so, and they have fallen further and further behind on their property taxes because nobody's been paying it.
No one exists. Yeah.
And so the attorney for the trust offered to deed it to us in lieu of a foreclosure process, so we didn't have to go through $1,000 a lot to get it. And so, thanks to the actions at town meeting, the town is well in the process and will soon own every one of these lots. Now, the reason I bring it up here is not just to mention all this, but it's also to say one of the ideas I had was that this is all protected lands, is all wetland protected lands, but I'm wondering if the town can do something like walking trails. Because we could cut some trees, make some trails. It's interestingly, if there's enough interest there in size, and based on my discussions, this part of the road was never actually built, not as a road, and it's certainly not a road accepted by the town. In fact, none of these roads have been accepted by the town. Not even Cheryl Ann, which has been around for a long time, and Edith is one of those things that people tried to get the town to take recently. Anyway, there is enough here that could be very interesting, and maybe the town's going to end up selling off the 7 lots that are theoretically buildable. I don't know, but a discussion. I wanted to bring you all up to date on what's happening. I've been getting questions about which lots are buildable and why not, and I've given my best opinion about that. We'll see what happens in the long run and how the town is going to try and dispose of the property. But right now, it's all landlocked because you can't get to it. Someone would have to build a road, which isn't out of the question. I just don't know that there's enough interest for 5 properties there, and potentially one down at Karen Way, and then we'll have. There is a small segment of Karen Way that exists to service these lots here. I don't know why those were allowed, but somebody's living there.
So from Prescott to Karen, that corner doesn't exist?
From
Right there?
Yes, correct. That doesn't exist, and from Way up to Briarwood
Doesn't
does
exist.
not exist.
But those 3 non-shaded ones are houses that are
Yes.
there. So that section is made.
Correct. And then Google Maps believes that this is part of Cheryl Ann Drive. Bing Maps thinks it doesn't exist at all. And based on my discussion with Dick Williams, it's gravel and it's sort of maintained. I don't know if it's actually maintained, but it's gravelly. It's not road surface. And as near as I can tell, this segment was never built and never done anything with. Yes. Thank you. If I'd like to, maybe I wouldn't like to. So, we may want to have future discussions about this. One of our longer-term discussions has been what is conservation and recreation land, and what is the commission's opinion on what we should do with that.
Okay.
Enough said. Let's open a hearing for notice of intent for Dale and Alexis Benander for 151 to 153 East County Road. I assume you're here for that.
I am. Good evening, Doug Andrysik, Land Surveying. We're here for behalf of Dale and Alexis Benander. And I don't know if you want to bring the plan up there, if you want me to show you what I brought, or however.
Which would
like.
you feel more comfortable with?
Whatever you're more comfortable with.
Oh, that's just a site. That might
You
overread.
got it.
Oh, there we go.
So let's try and do it on this.
Okay.
Everybody went to the trouble to get us these nice plans.
Right. Probably if you go to the next sheet, shows a little bit more detail about the culverts. There we go. Property's on the southerly side of East County Road, just below Michael Lane. Newer subdivision will be up in this area. The property was developed in 1986. Dale Benander put in a common driveway that serves 3 housing units down just to the south of this. At that time, he had put in a 12-inch culvert in this area and a pair of 24-inch culverts southerly of that. As 30 years has gone on, the driveway surface has deteriorated a little bit, and the culverts have also fallen into disrepair. The 12-inch one up here in particular is, we can find this end, the other end, it's sort of buried and needs to be fixed at this point. So what we'd like to do is come in and string an erosion barrier alongside the driveway, and begin the culvert here would be ripped out, replaced, put back in. Then the pair down here, which actually has there is an unnamed tributary that eventually flows to Muskapog Brook, flows down through here. If we do this in the low flow times, we like to come in and sandbag one culvert and divert the runoff flow to the other one, take it out, put it back in, restore the flow, and then reverse the process so that we would still be maintaining a flow regime at each time. Not looking to do anything else. The driveway will be patched and resurfaced. The culverts will be replaced with ones of the exact same size and kind, so that we can maintain the flow patterns exactly as they are now.
224 is a lot of water.
Yes. If you go further up into Michael Lane, as you remember, there's a pipe arch culvert under there. And then where it comes under East County Road, there's a pair of 36-inch culverts.
Okay.
By the time this reaches down to here, there's some indications of bank, but it's not a really well-defined bank of brook. It sort of dissipates and becomes almost like a wider, flatter, all-encompassing wetland with a couple of somewhat visible channels that go through here.
So you two, actually the three of you,
Yeah.
visited this. Comments from the walk?
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, cut and right.
Yeah, did you get anything from DCR or DEP number?
Haven't heard from DCR back yet. Tried all day to get a file number from DEP and got no return calls or response or anything up to 5 o'clock today.
I know they just did a switcheroo, so Judy is now an analyst, and Kimberly Roth from Northeast is now the circuit rider.
Ah,
That's right, I saw that
Yeah.
notification.
So they're probably still figuring things out. I think they were
Yeah.
touring today, so actually they did. Both Judy and Kimberly did a Suasco watershed training today, so that might be why they're both out of the office.
yeah, because I called everyone in the wetlands division.
Yeah, yeah.
So I figured something was
Yeah.
up. Nobody was returning a call, so they were all out today.
Okay, any particular concerns that we need to mark in the orders?
I think just a low flow condition, dry conditions for, I don't know, 5
When they're
days is
blocking
too
off one,
much,
yeah.
yeah. Or at least 3 days, but. Yeah, predicted forecast, dry days, at least 3 consecutive days.
Uh,
Do you want to email me the
Yeah,
specific wording?
I can.
That way I'll type it in.
Yeah, that's fine.
When did you want to do this work?
A lot of it depends on the weather conditions. Right
Mhm.
now, there's not a lot of flow there now. You know, a lot of times we talk about low flow and everybody thinks August, but the winter can be a low flow time as well. So I'm sure that Dale would be happy to have the ability to move forward at any time dependent upon
Okay.
the weather.
Because we don't have a DEP number, we can't close the hearing.
Correct.
But we'll be happy to continue, and hopefully you'll get one very soon, so at that very next meeting, we can just
Yeah.
close the hearing and
Okay.
move on, and we'll have the orders ready.
All right. Will we have to attend the next hearing, or?
You don't have to. We've
Okay.
done the presentation. I think we understand it.
Yep.
The benefit to attending is we can hand you the orders,
Wonderful.
and if not, we'll just mail it to you. It's not a problem.
Okay.
And I don't have my calendar, but I believe it's December 3rd.
I believe that sounds
Yep.
correct.
So I'll put you in right at 7:05.
Okay, great,
Get it done
thank
at
you.
the beginning for you.
I appreciate it.
All right. I'll like a motion to continue, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You didn't have a lot of rowdy crowd.
You have to be careful. Us Conservation Commission types, we're a wild bunch.
They're all at home now, since we're broadcast.
Strike the crowd, gavel.
Yeah.
Oh, it's back here, isn't it?
Yeah, you have one.
Well, we thank you, and you all enjoy a happy, healthy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You too.
too.
Thank you.
What's next
Over.
week?
That's the driveway that we looked at earlier. Ah, right. This is the Nexamp. So we talked about this some last time.
That's the one that's getting the modification.
Yes, getting modification. This road this is the new plan, so this is, I know, oh, they did. I wonder if, no, that's just the
No,
other
yeah.
side. Okay. So the original plan for this road was be higher up and a sharper turn to get to this same point. And so they want to move it down. It's a little closer to the wetlands. These erosion controls right here have to move 3 feet, I think, in order to support the width of the road they're making. But that's,
This was just for better access, right? Or
exactly
for
right. It's
turnaround
it's better access for turnaround, and this curve really was
yeah,
too
brutal.
sharp for anything.
Yep.
And I think it's a little closer to the wetland, but still 25, 30 feet
It's
away,
still
something
20.
like
It's
that.
it's still
Okay.
25ish.
It was only
a little
difference
more.
of like 10, 15 feet,
Yeah.
something
Jeez.
or other. Okay.
It really is this width of the road, and again, if I, yeah, I mean, because here's the wetland line,
Mm-hmm.
and the road is still out here, and the closest it gets is pretty much where it was going to be
Where it's gonna
before
be
anyway.
anyways. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Would anyone be, I guess, amenable to, not that I think it will change anything,
Mhm.
but saying yes, we accept this, modification as administrative thing, just submit a kind of engineered stamp that this doesn't change your stormwater standards, or it does not change your,
Total impervious area or
Yeah.
anything like that. Yeah.
or compliance with the stormwater standards. And if they can just send us literally just a letter with a stamp on it, and then be like,
That's
okay,
a good point.
have a nice
There we
day.
go.
Obviously I wasn't around for this notice of intent. I'm assuming they submitted a full stormwater report when this came through.
They'd have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
It's a fairly large project, looks like. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I would agree with that.
Would you like me to mail
Justin, Dustin,
Something like that, yes.
the in guy.
Yes, I can do
The
that.
Ustins.
Thank you. So we want this discussion to hang out one more meeting until we get, no?
No.
Just say, just approve
Approved
it.
conditionally with the, as long as they submit the letter, then
Okay.
I'm fine with that. If everyone else is. Sorry, my words aren't quite coming out tonight. Yeah, as long as no one else has any problems.
I don't. It looks,
Yeah,
it,
just to
yep,
put in the file.
absolutely. Do we need to vote on it? I don't think so. This
Yeah,
is-
I would vote.
We'd vote?
Yeah, just for the heck of it.
Before we do a question,
Yes.
am I allowed to vote on this since I didn't sit in on the original NOI?
Yes.
I am. Okay. I just wanted to ask.
Your vote shows that we followed the correct process.
Yep.
And that you don't have any conflict
Mhm.
and it all looks right to you.
Okay.
So if we weren't allowed to, there are so many votes I wasn't allowed to take when I first joined.
It'd be the same thing as for like a COC.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. A lot of those go back many years.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'd all be out of luck.
Okay. Figured I'd ask just in case.
Yeah. All right, so I will move to administratively approve the modification for Nexamp for 67 Wachusett Street, as long as they provide an engineered stamp letter certifying that they are still in compliance with their stormwater standards.
I'll second.
Well said.
And I can also email that to you if you want. Yeah. Okay.
It's hard to write that.
Yeah. That came out, but like that's the one thing I think came out for once. So.
All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Okay. So we may as well get to the fascinating discussions about certificates of compliance. Okay, are any of these easy?
I think 74 Woodside, unless you can think of anything.
That's the easiest of the three.
Yeah.
I would say. So the only hesitation I have on 74 Woodside, it pretty much is done.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like they hydroseeded fairly recently, so there's still some
May not have taken
stabilization that
yet.
needs to happen. Some is taken, some hasn't. I'd
Mhm.
say it's probably about maybe 40-50% stabilized,
Okay.
but I don't know what's in the order specifically. Me personally, I always like to see maybe closer to like 75.
Yeah, I go with
So
70.
that would be my only hesitation on 74 Woodside. Other than that, everything else there looked pretty good.
Do we know if they're trying to sell these properties?
Somebody was in it.
I don't know if it was a contractor
Yeah.
or the house
Or
looked
you
empty.
think or are they just finished? Finished.
Yeah,
I think they're
The
finished.
house next door, while we were out there, I noticed the homeowner came home
Yeah.
Mhm.
while we were there, but
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about this one.
Okay, so if there's no reason to push this through
Mhm.
because the bank's looking to close,
Mm.
then I have no problem saying we need to let it sit for over the winter and into
Yep.
the spring,
Yeah.
some to
Spring.
let it set
One-
more.
one
That's okay
one
with
more
me.
growing season.
Yeah, especially because that one is right next to the culvert and the BVW.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't steep like some of the others.
Right, yeah.
So that's where
I know
it's
which
kind of
one
like
this is, yeah.
it's okay, but I would agree.
Okay.
I think this one would be the least likely to erode out of all of these, but
Agreed.
But
Yes.
I completely see the desire to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that the
Yeah.
land that the landscaping takes and that we're
Yes.
not going to
Yes.
have a problem.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
This builder, you can rent after they finish it. I rented mine for a couple of months.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay.
Actually, 75 is easy because I think that's a no.
Okay.
I would agree.
That I don't understand. Like the stairs weren't even like there was a gap under the stairs.
The whole yard was still disturbed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like not even
No
final grade.
loam, no seed or hydro seed, nothing like that. So it was.
Does it look like the construction's complete?
No.
But no.
Well, the house is done,
Okay.
but like not even the
But
front
none
stairs
of the
are
landscape.
done.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, but the stairs aren't done. Okay.
Yeah.
So they still have more work to do. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The driveway was done. That was about it.
Yeah.
Everything else around the house was all still disturbed.
Okay. Then.
Because we kept looking around, like, are we
Like,
sure?
Yeah, is this the
Are we
right
sure?
one?
Sure it's not that one? Then we checked our emails. No, it's this
No,
one.
it's this one.
Okay. So that's clearly come to us in a year.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. 7 Brintnal.
That one's really steep in the back,
Okay.
and it has like no stabilization. Like, I didn't get a chance to look at the approved plans. I don't know if you did, Jared.
I did.
And there's also so we walked. There's like a culvert that goes under the road. You can kind of see where it would go
Mhm,
on this
sure.
property. And then that, I mean, which is another problem that has kind of eroded away. And then if you walk down here, there's actually was a breach in the silt fence, so they actually have silt in the BVW.
Oh,
Is another
no.
issue.
There's a couple of places.
Yeah, there was one that it was pretty clear. I mean, it wasn't far, it wasn't a lot, but you could tell all the water just kind of shot down this slope, got caught behind the silt fence because that's what it does. It gathers the water and
Right.
then it plopped over.
Yeah.
And then there's like this tree line is pretty wooded, and they've filled above the roots of the tree like a couple feet.
They've killed the trees.
They've killed the trees. I mean, a good amount of them, like
And some
pretty
of
much
those
all
trees
throughout
have
here.
already started to fall down.
Who's the builder on this?
Blair.
Okay.
So I did review this plan. I looked at the grading. It's designed to be a 2-to-1 slope. By my eye, it looks closer to 1-to-1.
Yeah.
It's pretty steep,
It's
and it's
very
not.
steep.
And that slope is definitely
It's
not
scary,
stabilized. Yeah, we had to go down. We had to come down around this way because you can't go down that way. It's way too steep.
Did Karen send us all 3 of these? Okay.
Yeah, so they've kind of killed the trees, impacted BVW. BVW wasn't huge. I think just even leaving it would be fine at this point.
Yeah, there was a contractor in there, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think I think this is also another house that's, they finished the landscaping, but it might not have moved in yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They've got their grill there.
Yeah.
They got stuff. I got it.
So,
Yeah.
but I think it was the same amount of grass growth as 74
yeah,
too. So
and there were some areas like on the edge of the driveway it was kind of
Just
washed out. On the back edge of the driveway it was kind of washed out. So same thing. They hydroseeded not too long ago. Some took, but
Where
it
is the
just
driveway on this?
right here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Although that's not what it looks like.
No, I think it's more
it comes
like
in here.
yeah, I think it's more like this.
Yeah.
It's not that long and it's not that far over to the right. And there was definitely some washout along the edges of the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, similar to the other one. It started to take, but it got cold.
This must
And
have
there's
sewer.
no way that will stabilize effectively, especially right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some spots at the bottom of the slope, I mean, it looks like earth just got pushed back and
Okay.
is suffocating some of those trees, and it's just bare soil.
And there are some big boulders at the bottom,
Mhm.
but you can't tell if they were placed there or if they maybe
They've
pushed them
rolled.
down or
Yeah.
they've rolled.
Yeah. Yeah, and that culvert over here, it's
Yeah.
eroded
Where-
a pretty.
Do you
pretty
think
good.
that the boulders were really just at the base of the hill, or were they
No,
closer
they
to?
were on the back. Like they were scattered kind of, I don't know, throughout. I think I would say they would probably, yeah, they probably were,
Right at the edge of the slope, probably. I'm wondering if those are supposed to be.
I'm trying to think.
Let's keep you out of the wetlands by putting
Well,
a
that's-
physical barrier up.
you know, that's what kind of our thought when we went, is like, oh, is there supposed to be a retaining wall? Did the retaining wall just collapse? Because it, you know, I was like, can you even do a 1-to-1 without a wall? It's like, yeah, if you put stone on it, but it wasn't stoned.
Okay. So we have serious concerns about the slope and there's not enough.
I mean, they've killed all the trees back
Yeah.
there. It's feet.
There's some of them are covering the barrier, just collapsed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we definitely want them to get the erosion control back in order.
Right. Especially when it comes to the springtime too.
That's right,
When it
because
thaws and
springtime,
landslides.
in fact, the way that it rained today,
Mm.
it was I was surprised how heavily it rained today.
Mm-hmm.
But it just makes me concerned about this as well. Okay. Is this something we should be looking at more closely? Monitoring more closely, I mean to say.
Possibly.
In terms of BVW impacts,
That, making sure the erosion control stays intact,
Yeah.
making sure there isn't too much washout from heavy flow, and that the ground cover is actually taking.
yeah. I mean, I'd also be curious to look back. I mean, we must have approved the culvert, because it looked relatively new,
Mm-hmm.
from up here that went under Brintnal and then
Mhm.
goes down there. Because it looked like there was riprap at the outlet, but that had also been washed down the hill too.
Oh, okay.
So it's it's got a good
That's-
velocity
that's-
coming down.
That's really interesting, okay.
There's a
The one up above is really, it's good
Yeah.
size. I don't know how big it
Yeah.
was.
And it's
Yeah.
got a good drop to the
It
to the
does.
ground too.
They had a couple of plateaus on this side of Brintnal
Mhm.
where the discharge location was. It was pretty well rip-rap, and it had a couple almost like plunge pools as it came down, and then it went into a structure under the road and out that culvert. But then once it came out the culvert, it just
It's too
it
fast.
carved a gully right into the soil.
This is really close to Campbell, right? Not Campbell,
Mhm.
Palmagussit.
Palmagussit.
Yes, yes,
Right off it.
yeah. It's just a few houses in.
Okay.
I mean,
So why don't we, if you would take some notes and get them to Tamika so that she can respond to Karen with all of our concerns.
so do we want to ask them for their engineer, wetland scientist, to go out and assess the site?
I think
And
that's a
report
really
back.
good idea.
Okay. You know,
I mean, again, you said that what got into the wetlands or beyond the erosion control isn't that much, and so I don't want to start a whole
no,
unnecessary mess with it.
No.
But it's something that I would like to get them
If
to
it-
look at
yeah.
it and see it.
If
and
it was fresh,
evaluate it.
I'd say like literally take a hand shovel and take it out.
Right.
But it seems older, so
Mhm.
I would say I'd agree with you, just refreshing the erosion controls, and then having someone go out and look at the slope, look at the trees, and then give us a statement of compliance with the approved
Right.
plan.
Okay.
I'm surprised they don't have a fence. Yeah, if you go by there, just like stand at the edge, and it's like, how do you get down there?
Okay.
It's terrifying. It's like people with kids are gonna want to.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a picture at the bottom where the silt fence has been
Oh. Okay.
breached.
Yep.
So it's not the worst violation in the
No,
world.
no.
It's there.
But it's there.
But it's there. You're right. It did get past the silt fence. It is into the BVW.
Yeah.
It's not terrible,
Yeah.
but it has been breached.
Well, that doesn't
When-
even
when
really
did we
look
do
like
these
where it is
orders?
either.
The orders for 7 Brintnal?
Yeah, that doesn't look quite
November of 2016.
like what's out
16. Okay. Thank you.
This
Okay.
guy, this is dated March.
there. Yeah, I noticed that earlier this year.
No, this plot plan is dated March. This is probably for the building permit.
Probably.
This particular plan had some offsets from the building to the property line,
Yeah.
and when I read through the
Yes,
certification,
that's
I
probably
think
just for that plot.
I think it's mostly for just conformance to zoning setbacks. I
Mhm.
think was the intention of this
Yeah.
plan.
Yes.
But it does show the proposed grades. I'm assuming that was the intent. So that's what I
I would
looked
love
at.
to see our approved plans.
Yeah. Do we still have those?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're up in the.
They're
somewhere,
there.
somewhere in a box.
I know, I can point you at the boxes if I could get in the building, but I can't get in the building.
Where are they now?
They're in the top floor of the town hall.
Oh,
Excuse me, community hall.
oh, sorry.
A town hall is only for town offices, but a community hall has other functions, like the auditorium on the second floor, where they used to do performances. That's where all the high school school performances used to be, once upon a time. It is. It's a very cool space. Hopefully they'll fix the floor soon and it'll be,
Usable?
yeah.
It
right.
smells historical.
Yes.
That's a very politically correct way to say it.
Musty.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then there was also, so then we drove around the Bryce Estates
Mhm.
afterwards. And so we looked at the culvert that was next to 74 and 75.
Mm-hmm.
And that looks high, like perched very high.
Oh, okay.
And ironically, I went to the Rivers and Roads training, so I am fresh. So it's, it's definitely, I don't know if you have a better picture than I did. So
I took one of the actual culvert inside. They had it lined with stone, and it all actually looked really nice, but
it's
the
a-
area
it's too much.
just this side of the picture was pretty wet.
Okay.
There was a lot of ponding on that side, so it did seem like it was a little bit.
It's elevated,
elevated.
relative
Yeah.
to the flow.
Yeah, just a little
Um,
bit.
You know, and it could be
Oh, actually,
sometimes,
you can kind of
yeah.
see it there.
So,
Yep.
That's just outside
a
the
little
upper end
perched.
of the culvert.
Mm-hmm.
and this is on the 75 side.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And it's kind of, right, I think like Jared said, it's making the water spread outwards versus going through the culvert.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not capturing the flow any
Right.
longer. And so the water is up to the silt fence basically at 75.
You can see, you can start to see some of the ponding. Let me see. More pictures. This one's good. You can start to see
Yeah.
there's some ponding.
Mhm.
There's the culvert ponding back here, and that's just another picture looking out into
Right.
that wetland area
Mhm.
before it gets into the
But
culvert.
there's little pockets like right behind the
Yeah.
silt fence.
Yeah. So it does seem like it is a little bit elevated.
And even if, you know, they could claim it's time of year, but I don't think the water would have dissipated outwards as much.
No, you
It
wouldn't
would
think
have
so.
it would have just kind of gotten narrower versus
Versus
wider.
distributed, yeah.
Right, because there's still water flowing, but it can't get through. Because I don't think we saw anything coming out the other side. Because when we were at 74, it was like, you know, where does that wetland over there connect to? And it wasn't until we went on the Sedona
Mhm.
circle did we could see that culvert kind of connected through there, and then, you know, we saw the huge culvert on Woodside.
Mhm.
But then when we went to Sedona, Jared found me on the side of the road, and that's a big box culvert,
Right.
and that's just got trash in it, like old pipes and like a metal bucket and silt fence, and it looks like they've been doing work on it, and they've just been leaving everything that they have
Mhm.
in it, and it's kind of ripped through the silt fence because it's flowing. You know, you should only have the silt fence across the stream when you're trying to do like culvert work so it doesn't
Right.
flow. So it busted through that.
That's that picture there.
Yeah, so I mean that's just trash. That's trash.
And then, it's a little hard to see.
Yeah, I think I might have
Get
some
to
too.
it. Oh, I think I went by it. There's the inside of the culvert.
So there's just
There's a
Trash.
lot of stuff in there.
Mhm.
And even outside, there were a couple of extra pipes and some other trash. I think I probably have some pictures of that where you can see one of the pipes there. I feel like, yeah, there's like
Yeah.
a pile of trash just before, in front of the culvert.
Mhm.
Just a lot of stuff. It looks like it's been there for a while. Be my guess.
But ironically, it looks like they've been working in that area recently.
Yeah.
which was interesting because everything
'Cause-
was kind of freshly graded.
Yeah, and even one area, let me get to the, there's another picture. They actually have it labeled to,
Oh, yeah,
add,
add
some
stone.
stone. There it is, add stone. So you know, it's good intentions there, which makes sense because it's
Yes.
it's a little bit steeper on that edge. That's
Mhm.
that's the area. That
Oh,
they
right,
outlined for
right,
stone.
right.
Which it kind of looks like that on the other side of the road. They already
Mhm.
have stone there. So there's definitely some work that has been happening in this area and probably will be soon. But definitely that culvert, and there's a lot of stuff in that culvert. Some of it is just large boulders, some of it is trash and debris.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how long ago that was put in? Because all those houses seem
Quite a
pretty
while.
well done. Yeah.
They all look
They
done
are
and,
done.
and lived in.
So I was,
I think the last time I drove through there was like a year and a half ago.
yeah.
Okay.
So that was kind of surprising to see, like, oh,
That's
it's
the one
old,
we
but
were,
it's
the
new.
area we were talking about, they had to pump water to get the foundation.
Right, yes. Yep, that's exactly right.
That they ended up not having to pump it, I guess. I talked to Joe about it.
Oh, yeah?
I
Hmm.
guess they didn't have to pump it, I don't know.
So I think,
Good for them, but still.
yeah. So I think maybe while we send back our COC findings, we could send a letter to them stating, you know, you really need to come into compliance with your multiple order of conditions. Because I'm
Mhm.
assuming there's one for the road, couple for the road, probably, different areas.
But not ours.
What do you mean not yours?
DEP's.
Oh,
Is this a superseding?
Yes.
Ah.
This whole area is superseded for
Really?
the development, yes.
Okay.
but not the houses?
Not the houses.
So just
house-
the road.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
So
I was
it,
curious
it
why it
would
got split
not
up.
hurt for us to send the letter anyway, just to
Yeah.
Yeah.
inform them that we find this. Again, I'm not trying to. I'm happy to let them fix stuff that we tell them
Mhm.
about, and because
Yeah.
I just care that it's okay. I don't
Yeah.
care that.
Right.
Yeah. So are we thinking we notify them in writing, but not
Like, hey,
Tell-
this is what we found.
That's right. Just say, hey, this is what we
This is what
found.
we found,
We'd really
yeah.
appreciate. You ought to do this. You know, wording like that.
Mhm.
That's points out that they want to, but doesn't give the.
Yeah. And then see
Should
what
we
happens.
send it to DEP? Just so they're
I would
aware?
rather not send
yet?
it to DOT.
Yeah,
Because if they just fix it,
Then,
Then that's
we're
fine.
good.
it's fine.
Yeah.
That's all we care about.
that makes
Okay.
sense. Okay.
So the subdivision as a whole, I'm assuming they had an NOI,
hmm
came
And
through
we
this.
did an order
came-
of
came through
conditions,
this
and it was
board,
appealed to the
and it
DEP, and
was
the
appealed.
DEP set up their own order.
They
They
did a superseding. Okay.
That's right.
That subdivision goes back years and, what,
20,
20 years?
25?
Yeah,
Does it
20,
really?
25 years, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Well,
That-
it's called Bryce. It was originally just the Lemon. Just Bryce or just
I
Lemon?
think it was just Bryce.
It was
Bryce
just
Estate.
Bryce.
Yeah,
And then
Bryce.
stuff happened, and the next property was acquired, so it became Bryce Lemon.
Okay.
And then
Those houses are fairly new, though.
Yeah.
no, because they just got all the approvals.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
In fact, Concom, as I was getting involved, so that was 4 years ago, 5 years ago now, is when Rutland's Concom did its hearing and order of conditions.
Okay.
There's a change of plan. They actually did some things that was actually very, very helpful in the plans, in terms of staying further away from not actually having. They took out a wetland crossing,
Mm-hmm.
and they stayed further away from the pond that's just sort of up there somewhere.
Which one wants the amendment? Remember from a couple months
That's
ago?
that one is it's the one next to Bear Hill.
Okay. But same person, right?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. There's too many of them.
Yep.
Got it.
I was curious why the house lots had their own orders of conditions separate from the subdivision.
Mhm.
That seems. I would have thought it would have all been rolled into one. But
No, this
guess
was
not.
The price
this
is
was
the
a
same.
politically problematic
Yeah,
Okay.
there was,
subdivision.
it was an Indian campground or burial ground.
Oh, okay.
They just fought and fought and fought.
They
trying
like, yeah, and people like to do the road first so they can start doing the road.
Sure.
Mhm.
And then they
Yeah.
figure out which houses they actually need to permit
That's
and do
true.
those.
Yeah.
Because even if they did the whole subdivision, the price is still based on which houses and things are in the buffer, so the cost is the same.
Okay, so we'll get our notes together, we'll get the letters out, and we'll say,
I'll send you stuff.
I have asked where the heck our email address is, and the answer is, came back, oh, I think I forgot about it, sorry about that. Hey, Mr. Town Administrator, is it okay to spend $20 a month on this office license? And I haven't heard anything since, so now I'm trying.
Have you talked to Eric?
I have not yet talked to Eric, no.
It's been so long, you don't even know who he is.
I stopped including him on the emails just because it seemed like I didn't want to fill up his inbox with the regular agendas and
That's okay for now.
different things like that. I wasn't really sure, so.
He is on my list, and I do think of it at times when I can't possibly call him to say, hey, what's going on? You know, hey, let's catch up.
She's still living down Cape, working down there?
I haven't heard. I'm not sure. All I can say is I haven't heard anything.
Mm.
So I do want to have a decent talk about what he wants to do. Okay, let's see, we did hearings, we did both discussions, we did the COCs. Anything else before the board, any other business?
I had one update for the board. I reached out to Jennifer McGinnis at DCR.
Oh, yes.
This is in relation to 133, 141 Glenwood Road. I had met, I'll just refresh, I had met.
Please do.
Refresh all of our memories, mine included. I had met with James Hooper, who's the
Yes.
owner of the property. This was probably 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, something like that. This is where the rail trail abuts his property. They had the two culverts, causing some flooding on his property. And the bigger issue was in the back of his property, there's a kind of swampy area that he said didn't even exist that long ago, 10-ish years ago. With respect to the culverts, I reached out to Jennifer at DCR. She did take a look at it. Her and I finally connected earlier this week. She actually said DCR does not own that land. She said that it's owned by Wachusett Greenway.
Oh.
So she suggested I reach out to them. She gave me a name, Colleen Abrahams. So I wanted to ask this group if we had any contacts with them, who I could reach out to, or I'll just do my best reaching out to them.
I think it's do your best,
Yeah.
considering Peter's reaction.
Okay. There's probably
Yeah.
some history behind this. that I don't
My
know.
thoughts are not going on camera.
Okay. So I will see what I can do. I told Mr. Hooper, I had spoken with Jennifer, I just emailed him earlier today, and that I will follow up with him after I hopefully get in touch with somebody at Wachusett Greenway.
So, hold on. Since I happen to have the gist up.
The chiss.
Stop making fun of me.
I'm sorry.
So what did I
It's a
deserve?
busy week. So wait, I'll get me through.
Okay, so Molten Mill is here, so it's... Oh, it's right here.
Yeah, but you're on the wrong road.
No, I know, that's
Okay.
why I wanted... So, where?
Glenwood.
It's
Glenwood,
on Glenwood.
so-
Oh, that's easy, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Glenwood. So it's gotta be here, right?
Yes. I think that's
What
it.
is it the other side?
And look, it says DCR. No, it can't. This is not part of the rail trail.
Oh.
This, in fact, has big boulders on it with do not enter signs.
Mm-hmm.
And the parking lot, I believe, is this little section right here. I believe. But I could be wrong. In any event,
I think it's the...
the rail trail is here.
Yeah.
See, that's owned by Greenways.
The that whole thing's gonna show
See,
up like DCR.
This is all, this says it's all owned by
I
DCR.
know.
What's the address on Glenwood? What, wasn't it 141 or something?
It was 133 and 141,
Oh, that's right, so that's down here.
which is further north. I think
Further north.
that parcel label number 4 right there, I think that's 133.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly right, good call.
So it's right at the south edge of that property where it hits the rail trail. That's where
Okay.
those 2 culverts are. And they go under the rail trail, and Glenwood is going downhill from south to north.
Yes.
So a lot of that roadway runoff is coming off the edge of the road, getting picked up by those culverts, and then discharging onto 133 Glenwood, onto that property.
Okay.
And I had shared, Mr. Hooper had sent me some of the pictures he had taken, which were from late April, early May of this year,
Mm-hmm.
which were really helpful because it actually showed flow coming through those culverts. It was actually kind of silty flow. And discharging onto his property, I also had forwarded those to Jennifer at DCR just to give her some more background. And that's the area behind his property that we also walked the rail trail
Right,
to take a look
so
at that. And
this
that's-
obviously goes all the way up to Brintnal.
Yes. And he had mentioned, Mr. Hooper mentioned the Warrens. He said they did own a lot of property back there,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it is fairly swampy. I don't know if just from looking at GIS, there are a lot of wetlands that are mapped back here. I don't know the history on, when
So
exactly
the-
those became wetlands or
The
not.
culverts cross, see, well, we might need something more serious, a little more serious research than what this is telling us, because this tells us that the DCR owns,
I know.
and so I might need to do a little property search to see what's really going on here.
Yeah. When I spoke with Jennifer, I was surprised, but she looked into it and she said it's not them that owns it.
Okay, so
The rail trail itself?
the rail trail itself.
Yeah, I think they deeded that to the Greenways.
Yeah, that's what she said. Yep.
And they did what they wanted with it.
I think she also had said the actual work on the rail trail was also was that done by Wachusett Greenway? I think
Yes,
that's
it
what
was.
She said. Okay, that's what I recall her saying.
That I
as
do
well.
remember.
Okay. Yep.
Well, that's okay, as long as if it has a book and page, which I don't see. Ugh.
I can't even see that far.
No, this is where the book and page of the transfer of ownership, and it should also be, I thought it was somewhere up top also.
Could just not have been updated in the assessors because it's such a weird thing to.
The date this is February 2019.
No, yeah, this is the most up-to-date information that the assessors has, but if they didn't have a book and page, then they have to do a property search through the registry of deeds,
Right.
and,
And what do you search for? Who knows?
yeah, and find, yeah, exactly.
So if it doesn't come up easily with a house number, then they might not be able to really update it very well.
It's hard, we just know, it's the rail trail, so we know it was owned by one of the railroads.
Sorry,
Some
I stared
time ago,
blankly
but-
at you. Like, yes. That makes perfect
I wasn't sure if
sense.
sure if that was a that makes sense or a,
What?
are you high?
No, that was just like,
Joe was around back then.
that was just all the mental capacity left my body.
Okay, so, if you could get any other information from Jennifer
Mhm.
about the transfer, if we can get a book and page,
Yeah.
then,
I'll check with her and maybe I'll just do a quick search myself, see if I can find anything. But I'll follow up with her and see if she has any info.
then there ought to be. What do you think the odds are I spelled it right the first time? That's interesting. I know they used to have a website, but I don't know that it was .com. And frankly, I don't feel like searching for it right now.
They do have one, because I Googled it and it did come up.
Yeah,
I don't
I-
remember the specific address.
I don't have contact people, so I
Okay,
can't lead,
okay.
lead you to the right.
I figured I'd ask first, but
No, it's a
I'll
good
reach
thing
out
to
to
ask.
them either way.
Having fun.
Alrighty.
See what comes up.
Yeah, good luck.
Anything else? Anybody have anything else this evening?
So like I said, I went to Rivers and Roads and it was very exciting.
Good.
It was really fun. They had even like the fluvial like water tables from
Mhm.
UMass. So you got to play with water and floodplains and culverts, and
Does sound like fun.
it was great. It was really nice.
Interesting.
So if they do it again, I think Bay State Roads is holding them for free a couple times in the next couple months for Tier 2A. So I'd recommend it. This one was right at Fish and Wildlife in Westboro, so
Mhm. Oh, that's not even that far to go.
that's about it.
I will accept a motion if somebody's willing to make one.
Move to adjourn at 8:01.
8:02.
Oh, it was 8:01 when I said it.
Well, it doesn't matter when you said it. What matters is when
I know.
when everybody answers this
I know.
question. All in favor?
Aye.